we're going to do things that no other occupation has done, and we're going to set the model for all other occupations to emulate, and that's why we're here, and we got to utilize what we got, because we got a whole bunch of a lot of good energy, a lot of good resources, got a lot of good intentions, and just remember that we're Occupy Boston. Can we talk about anything in particular rather than talk about we recognize you, sir? I would just like to say very briefly that these issues here are very important. The issues this gentleman spoke about, and many more, are very important. But how are we going to change this? There's only one way. Right now, the corporations own the Congress. We all know that. Many people out there know that. Until that changes, none of this stuff is possible, because they call the shots. The corporations, I think our central issue is the corporations need to be supplanted by the people. And government needs to be responsive to the people, not the corporations. Without that, none of these are possible. Point.
Okay, I'll go. So my point was not that we should mix in right-wing stuff, because the way that they keep us divided is by having half of us be left-wing and half of us be right-wing. And so if our statement is one that's left-wing or right-wing, it's not going to work, and it can't be both, because they're antagonistic. And so that's why my perspective, or if I were to propose a statement, is to say we recognize that the system is corrupt, that the system is wrong. We recognize, and this is a little bit like, I think that New York statement was going along, but maybe it was too long. But it's that, the media lie. The media is wrong. The established parties, you should never, ever, ever vote Republican or Democrat ever again. For me, that's guaranteed that the fact that they're established.
Good point. I like that. Yes, sure. Same thing.
I think that might ruin things the way of run how we vote.
What's that? Sorry?
That's up for discussion. I just want to say, and this will be really frustrating, because the middle class and lower class is 99%, but some of the people are so hypnotized by the propaganda on TV, they're hopeless, and we're not going to be able to convince them to come. That's just the fact of the matter. Or there's a lot of people that won't be able to be convinced to come here, and that's okay. I think we'll get enough people still, but we can still say we are the 99%, because we're not lying when it comes down to economics and numbers. The 99% does not have per person doesn't have the same amount of wealth, and it's basically what I'm saying is, if people don't recognize that this society is much less egalitarian than it should be, that's okay. I think enough people recognize that. What we should be doing on regards to truth is giving out just flat out statistics. Give out statistics, like I said, in colleges, give out statistics regarding colleges and like very poor communities, the ones that regard poor communities and poor coaches, etc. And so when people see that, they not only know that it's true, but they're reminded that people are recognizing that, and now it's time to do something about it. This is not the time to wait anymore. This is the time to do something about it. But
I mean, I heard someone say, you better not vote for Democrat or Republican again, and I'm just like, yeah!
Yeah!
All right, hey there, this is Colby Peterson back again. What day is this in the Occupy Boston movement? What day are we at now?
It started Friday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Day 5, and I'm here with Geneva from the media tent, the media crew here. And Geneva, can you just give us an idea of what's going on tonight, or?
Essentially, everyone's really aware that there's problems going on in the world. So what this whole movement is all these people who are aware of this are kind of coming together to hammer out the details of what to do about it. It's just organization, which is what I think everyone's been waiting for a really long time.
Right. And how do, I talked briefly about the consensus process. What's that all about? Why use the consensus process?
Every single decision has to be a group decision. We don't want anyone to not have a voice, which is really the most important thing.
There really is a strong concern that the group is coming off as too left-wing and not really reaching a lot of the other 99%. The 99% is not just a left-wing cause, it's not just a right-wing cause, it's not just socialist, libertarian, or anarchist, or whatever. It's definitely, it's based on clear facts that 1% of the country owns more than 50% of the wealth in the country. So, that can be a problem for any society eventually, whether you want to run the society democratically or using a market-based system or using a government or a statist system or even a anarcho-anything system.
This is not a leader-based society.
Right, right.
This is a people-based society.
Ah, okay, all right.
Clearly these people are not happy with the way that the wealth is distributed, and they feel disempowered, and they feel like their Congress and that their government is failing them. So that's what we have here. And they're trying to reach out and get that message to everyone and make it a problem for everyone. You know, if people don't see it as a problem, they want to make sure that they can convince people that it is a problem.
So are there any concerns about outreach right now that you guys are dealing with? Or, I mean, do you have a unified message yet? Is it still kind of being worked out?
It's kind of being hammered out still. The unifying message as of right now seems to be that we should unify. You know, it's everyone's very anti-greed. That's one thing we all agree on. There's a couple different, like, smaller groups who have slightly different views. Well, my whole life, you know, I really wanted to start a revolution myself. So I saw this going on in the Common was the first meeting. I think so Wednesday. And I heard people yelling, so I asked some questions, and I decided I really just wanted to get involved. And I saw I didn't really have a set direction yet, so I figured if I got involved, I could kind of promote some kind of direction. So I'm now part of 3 tenths, the arts and culture, direct action, and media. And I'm doing everything I can. It's not just Democrats here, it's not just liberal people, conservative people are here too. This is 99% not 50.
Right. Great. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say at the moment, Geneva?
Everyone who wants to do something should come down here because you're welcome to do something. Anyone is allowed to come over to this tent and be part of the media community. You know, be a part of the direct action committee, be a part of the logistics committee, donate things so that we can all, you know, keep having the comforts that we have. Everyone is invited to help. Everyone, we want as much help as we can get.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. All right, so hey there. So we've got a nice boardwalk right here, kind of bisecting the tent area. It is indeed very muddy. It's interesting just kind of walk down here and be surrounded by all of these huge financial companies and the juxtaposition between tents and these palaces that surround us.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Free flowers and popcorn. Flowers from Red Fire Farm.
Alright, so just kind of like brightening up everyone's day with some flowers?
Yeah.
Alright, sounds good, man.
And popcorn. So
And
trying to get rid of it. We got a huge bag of it.
There's a lot of popcorn.
Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
So as we just overheard, they're kind of describing the different sections that we have here. There's logistics, there's media, there's actually a spiritual kind of chill out tent down here, so a meditation space. And of course there's medics and all kinds of different And then out here we've got, of course, artists are a big part of the community, so there's always people kind of practicing instruments and getting ready for celebrations later. While you're standing here on the street with an End Corporate Greed sign, it is pretty self-explanatory, but...
Yeah, a little bit. I talked more in the last episode. No way!
Why do you need a sign like, we're really nice people?
It was the nicest one I saw in the tent. I don't really know. I don't know, I came here out of curiosity, but I like the vibe here. I'm glad I came.
How could you describe the vibe? What would you say it is?
I think it's really relaxed, and people are just, obviously they're upset, but they're not taking anything to extremes.
Right.
They're like just calmly talking about their issues and how to fix them.
The
Manufactured signs, huh?
Yes.
I guess they just have a pile to pick out of.
There's actually right in here in this tent. There's
the sign tent.
Sign tent. And we got a nice little warning, friendly warning here.
What does it say? Please do not block the sidewalk.
Which is an arrestable offense. So,
as we saw in New York, right?
Yes.
My fucking backyard.
Except that was the road.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not
Tuesday.
Like sitting in some guy's backyard and we want to be respectful.
Direct action tent.
Doesn't look like there's a lot of direct action going on right now.
No.
I guess they're all over here though, right?
I mean, clearly there's a sustained presence, but right now in terms of actual people, not that many, at least compared to the other night. But there is a sustained presence, and that matters.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at it, there's not a whole lot of room for any more tents at this point on the grass. Maybe we can get a few more in there, but...
Well, Geneva was saying they're thinking of expanding somewhere?
That's what she said.
There was a statement of solidarity on the website that just sort of rattled off a laundry list of a dozen different, social issues, and he thought that it was too vague, too many issues, not narrowing it down to the economy enough. Is that right? Correct me.
Not narrowing it down to what unites the 99%.
Yeah.
The idea is that the GA should be like a union. You don't require people to be against homophobia in order to come into a union.
Exactly, yes.
If they want to fight against the bosses, that's it. That's all you want. If they, in the NAACP, they don't require everybody to check their whatever at the door.
Check their Islamophobia.
Yeah, exactly. If they're coming in because they want to liberate people from segregation, then you can come in. You have to figure out the GA is a model for a new society. Okay, it's got there's a bunch of old people in the new society.
Creating the democratic process.
Most of us are really fucked up. Most of us are really screwed up in the head. But we have to be welcome to come into the GA and change ourselves as we change the world.
We're totally against capitalism and imperialism and any and all forms of oppression and discrimination worldwide. There's only one side of the earth that's deserved to be oppressed. If my mother was oppressing you, I'd call her a criminal. And I'd be on your side. I don't care if you're related to me, it doesn't matter. If my son was president of the United States, I'd call my son the biggest political criminal in world history. It doesn't matter to me.
We're against, with your enlightenment and your perspective, realize that we're against all isms.
Right.
Isms are all these distractions.
Right.
They're illusions. They're illusions of the oneness that unites the fabric of humanity.
Right.
Right.
It's cool oneness. So we're all different, but that doesn't mean we have to hate each
exactly.
other.
But there's no ism. There's no ism. Right. There's no ism.
We're no different.
Right. But they are important. They are important in a sense. Like women, for example.
And sure. We'll get together on these isms. But the fact that we attract people based on the people come here with their isms, but then be transformed by the fact that this is a model for the new for the change.
So I was talking to my dad last night. We just were overhearing a conversation about intergenerational problems, kind of reaching other generations, and one gentleman right there said that most of us are really fucked up in the head. And that really hit me because when I was talking to my dad last night, he said something along the lines of, I really like the idea of all this, and I think it's good that people are getting out there, but you know what, that's you guys. That's your generation. I'm all done. And my dad's in his 50s, and I'm just wondering if that, and it seems like that's actually a valid concern, reaching out to other groups and making sure at the same time that other groups are not alienated from this movement, and that the 99% actually represents the 99%. That's what I kind of see, that's what I'm taking from here tonight.
Well, the reason why we're down here is because we're trying to upgrade the human experience.
Upgrade the human experience.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's ultimately why we're here, because we want to enrich the human experience for our people.
Okay.
That being the 99%. We want to have a better human experience, and we think by gathering and collectively, coming up with ideas, that we will come up with great strategies towards that.
I heard you guys talking like in a breakout group before about kind of like what you're just talking about right now, making it a human experience, making it less of a left versus right thing, making it less of a polarized sort of movement. How do you think you guys can accomplish that? How can this movement accomplish that?
Well, we're gonna have to break a lot of balls. If you want to be a realist, like I am, you're gonna have to break a lot of balls. Like my friends, you're gonna have to disrupt revenue. You're gonna have to cause. You have to become problematic to the orderly runnings of the sociological norm. You see what I mean? That's what we do tactically, non-violently, but also in a way where our occupants are trained in ways where we minimize arrest. You know what I mean? They know how to get in, get out, get the job done.
The whole thing is, if these people can accomplish this on their own, by themselves, why can't a government do it for us when we have billions of dollars backing it? It makes no sense. It's a common sense thing. These guys are doing it right here, right now, feeding, taking care of, doing everything in a tent city. And you can't get a government to feed your people.
What do you think is preventing the government from doing its role?
There's no compassion. You're getting blocked everywhere you turn. Everywhere Obama turns, he's getting blocked and blocked and blocked because it's not benefiting rich people. It's not good to help the fucking poor. It's not good. It makes no money. There's no money in helping us.
And if you really want to fight the beast, you're gonna have to go back to the roots. And we can talk about the root, but this isn't the time or the place for that.
I'm not really that involved yet. I mean, I've basically just been paying attention online, reading a lot of blogs, a lot of articles, that kind of thing, and just to interject, the biggest, I guess, fallacy of the New York movement so far, I think, is that it isn't neutral. Is that better? Even their statement they issued was very, there were little just bits and pieces of
like a laundry list.
Yeah, it was a laundry list, just kind of like they were trying to touch like all of the issues that, present people today, which is kind of an impossibility. So, like, how can you not exclude anyone? Like, how is that even possible?
Well, in my personal opinion, I think that you have to keep it about what the base, like they were saying over there, it's the basic idea that the 99 and the 1%, it's a question of economics, it's a question of, it's a numbers game in that respect, definitely. And that affects everybody. And the thing the trap that you have to avoid is that, yes, there's a good representative of people here who are, I would call, professional activists. People who come out to protest on a regular basis, who are very much involved in social issues and economic issues on a regular basis. And they do activism, they're used to this, they're trained, they're not afraid of the police, they know what to do when they're arrested. They've been there before. That's fine that these people are out here, but if I think the movement is going to grow, it needs to appear, excuse the term, but appear less kooky, appear more mainstream, or appeal to the mainstream at the very least.
And I'm glad you went there, because I was going to say the biggest thing I'm seeing, like everyone I've talked to that isn't really involved, basically that it seems to have right now this just general reputation of being a collection of just these hipster rich kids living off daddy's dime that have the luxury to come out here every day and just camp out and not do anything and just sit here in the mud and just yell angry thoughts and things, and that's kind of the reputation. I'm not saying it's accurate at all.
That is the reputation.
And I mean, obviously I don't think that's accurate, but I just think that it lacks the I guess the universal appeal so far, because it's people have jobs, and how do you be a part of it without actually being here?
Well, yeah, I mean, personally, I have a 9-to-5 job myself, and I know a lot of my friends have 9-to-5 jobs, and they're just kind of hey, coming out here whenever they can. And they're trying to get people to come out here whenever they can. You don't have to sleep over here to be part of this. You don't have to be here all day long. And I mean, if you want to kind of paint the picture a little bit more accurately in terms of who's actually representing this, in terms of constituents, of course there's going to be people who can afford to miss work, but there's a lot of people who just don't have work at all. I mean, there's clearly some, I would say, destitute people here who are down on their luck and are here to kind of say like, look, we've been in these conditions for a long time. I know what it feels like. Welcome. Welcome to my life in a way. So I don't think it doesn't only have to do with rich versus poor. I think if these guys want to get the message out, they're going to have to make it more relevant and make it more of, yeah, you should be upset, mainstream American society. You should be upset because this directly affects you. And that message has still yet to be completely articulated.
Yeah, and just general clarity and, obviously accessibility needs to be just refined a little bit, and I think that's, again, people are recognizing that.
Yeah.
And
luckily,
that's good.
Boston and many of the other cities can follow New York's lead and learn from their mistakes in a way too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.